Here are 100 secret things you didn't know in Dead by Daylight. If you learned something new, drop a like and subscribe down below. If you shine your flashlight on the pride flag charm, it'll glow rainbow colors. You can get a flashlight save through this random wall on Dead Dog Saloon. Wraith and Hillbilly have the same breathing sound effects, but at different pitches. Deathslinger wipes the blood off of the side of his weapon whenever he gets a hit. This is because he's wiping this little thing on his weapon that says Death to Bayshore, which is a reference to Deathslinger's lore. There is a secret vault spot on the second story of the main building in Mother's Dwelling. Whenever someone enters or exits the gas station shop on Gas Heaven, the bell rings. Nemesis's zombies will react to the survivor perk Diversion. Nemesis's zombies also react to discordance, so if two people are working on a gen, any zombie nearby will be attracted to it. You can hear human cries in the fireplace on Garden of Joy. Blight can't hit you if your body is below him while he's rushing. So staircases like on Thompson House are really easy ways to avoid getting hit. Blight also can't hit you if you crouch in the shack doorway. The same thing applies to Hillbilly as well. There's always a generator near the closed sliding doors on Gideon Meat Plant. So if you're ever looking for a generator, just find one of these doors. There are orbs on Nurse's hand that shows you how many blink charges you have left. Being in a snowman will still set off hag traps. Since in most of Plague's outfits, her left eye isn't there, Behavior never made an animation for it, so in outfits where her left eye is visible, she will never blink with that eye. You can break the drop-down God Pallet on Gideon Meat Plant as you're falling down. This is super useful when you're in chase. Whenever an offering shakes, that means it was affected by another offering. This can happen if you use Bloody Party Streamers, for example, that affects everybody else in the trial, or if there's two conflicting add-ons, such as a coin and a broken coin. If two or more offerings conflict with each other, the rarest one will be burnt, and the other one will bounce off the screen, being returned to the player's inventory. On Preschool, there is a drawing of something that kind of looks like... If you're on Midwich and you complete the generators in the chemistry room and then the music room, a secret room in the clock tower will open when the endgame collapse begins, providing you with an additional chest on the map. The chemistry room is the room with the periodic table and the drop-down hole right above one of the exit gates, and the music room is the room with the piano right above the bathroom. Mystery boxes in the Bloodweb can give you items of higher rarity than the box itself. Even in common mystery boxes, there's still a 1% chance to open an ultra-rare item. There are newspapers on Preschool that show the Dead by Daylight logo and Wraith. The perk Tenacity shows Tap grabbing his neck. This is a reference to when his neck was slashed in the movie Saw. There used to be an old feature while you were playing as the spirit that was super cool. If you were carrying a survivor and you hit the environment, your sword would literally shatter into multiple pieces. It was so sick. There's an Ace skin that has dollars in his pocket, and the dollar bills actually have Ace's face on them if you look at the texture in the game files. Killers can hit over small obstacles such as the fences on Dead Dog Saloon. There was supposed to be another swamp map called Village that never came to the game. This honestly looks really cool, and it would be awesome to have this map come in the future. Trapper has bandages on his leg, which are probably there because he steps in his own traps. In the prototype build of DBD, you used to be able to do parkour. The small thing in the middle of your screen that pops up when you're hit by a clown bottle was intentionally placed there so people with motion sickness could have a stationary point to look at. When Rebecca is sitting near the campfire, she's in the same pose as the picture Wesker hid in his desk in the Resident Evil series. On Dwight's Red Dude Jacket cosmetic, there's a patch that says another one bites the crust. This is a real patch that you can buy on Amazon. Aura reading perks do not work while you're in a snowman. Hex totems and resurrected totems from Hex Pentimento look different. Resurrected totems glow almost a reddish color and have more fire. The clown has two different moris. For female survivors, he cuts off the index finger on their right hand, and for male survivors, he cuts off the pinky finger on their left hand. It's speculated that the reason this exists is because Ash's right hand is made of metal, so it wouldn't work very well. Any killers wearing a mask never blink, but obviously you're never going to see their eyes anyway, so it doesn't matter. You can hear someone crying in the bathroom stall on Midwich. The Plague's model is missing a toe because her toe was cut off in her lore. Some rushed actions, such as dropping a pallet or fast vaulting a window, don't actually notify the killer if the killer is more than 48 meters away. You can make the God Pallet in Midwich useless if you vault over the window and lunge towards it. This will obviously be easier if you're using like Myers in Tier 3 or Coup de Grace. Any perk that another survivor has that's buffing you, such as Prove Thyself or Reassurance, has an arrow pointing up and is blue, but any perks that are nerfing you, such as Thanatophobia or Dead Man Switch, have a down arrow and are red. During his Mori, Deathslinger winks. Upon entering the rooms in RPD with a typewriter, you can hear the save room music that plays in the Resident Evil games. On Sanctum of Wrath, the statues in the center will always be looking at you, but will stop if you look at them. When you were in Deep Wound, your screen used to be entirely in black and white. Do you guys think this was a cool mechanic, or do you think this would be just straight up annoying? In Michaela's trailer, you can see a picture of Pyramid Head on her wall. There is a secret bathroom that you can access on Haddonfield. This was open in the PTB, but was closed when the Haddonfield rework came to live servers, probably just because it was a dead end, so it was frustrating for new survivors. The brown padded jaws add-on for Trapper gives his traps different sound effects. If you're playing as Freddy, you can place your snares through walls, which will help you catch unsuspecting survivors. There are many cosmetics that make unique sounds in-game. Most people know about Dwight's Jingle Bells, but Wraith also has a chain outfit that makes chain sounds, and Spirit has an outfit that makes bubble sounds. Freddy never blinks, so the devs hide his eyes in all of his portraits so he looks more intimidating. When a survivor starts a vault animation, their item disappears. So you can use this trick to confirm that they're vaulting if you're trying to figure out if you should commit to a Huntress Hatchet or something. There used to be offerings that allowed you to try DLC characters you did not own for a game. Murky regions don't stack because fog is capped at 75%. Oni is the only killer in the game to actually stab the survivor when pulling them out of a locker. Since he stabs them, Oni gets blood for his ability, just like if you were to hit them normally. You can stun the twins out of Victor if her body is on a pallet. It says Mount Ormond Resort high up on the building itself. This may be obvious to some people, but I didn't know about it and I've been playing this game for like 3 years, so maybe I'm just stupid. You can also see the Legion signature on the wall in Ormond's main building. Pyramid Head has a fully modeled tongue in the game files. Why? No one knows, and I'm not going to question it. On Kate's Valentine's Day skin, she's wearing a watch with her name on it. Kate's teachable perks, Boil Over, Windows of Opportunity, and Dance With Me are all names of songs that Kate wrote before she was taken by the entity. Huntress's lullaby lowers in pitch and becomes more crazy and manic as the game progresses. Myers loses all collision when he's stalking, so you can go inside of him. Putrid Oak doesn't technically stack if 3 or 4 survivors bring it because there's a minimum amount of hooks that are required to spawn on any given map. If you're sick of people being toxic, you can turn off endgame chat by clicking the little button on the bottom right. If you're struggling to find generators on indoor maps, there's always a generator near any signs or light bulbs that are flickering and blinking. There are orbs on Artist's Hand that show you how many crows you have left. If 2 people are in a snowman, you can high-five each other. If the killer is also in a snowman, you can high-five them as well. As a Legion, you are able to vault over the stair thing on Gideon Meat Plant with Bamboozle, block the window, and make it back to the stairs, completely trapping the survivor. Huge credit to Potato Legion for showing me this on Twitter. The artist doesn't have a tongue because her tongue was cut off in her lore. After escaping the killer's grasp by any means, you can walk straight through bear traps for a few seconds without getting trapped. There's a hidden golden toolbox on almost every map in the game. Some are pretty simple, like the one under the bench in Haddonfield, but some are much more complex, such as the Dead Dog Saloon one that slowly rises up in the water tower, or the Midwich one that pops out of this thing after the endgame collapse has gone on for quite a while. When standing still, Trickster breathes at a normal pace, but when you're running, he breathes faster. I believe Trickster is the only killer to do this. Legion's mixtape add-ons change your chase music depending on the combinations that you use. Here are a few examples so you can hear the difference. The Blighted Hillbilly cosmetic has another mini hillbilly on his shoulder. Whenever Hag hits a survivor, she lifts up her hand and drinks their blood. This is likely because there was a bunch of cannibalism in her lore. The Onryo doesn't have any breathing sounds since she's technically a ghost. This makes it harder for really good survivors to track her and chase. Every time you wake up the same survivor from the dream world, the timer will get longer and longer. Yui has a pink band on every single one of her outfits, even in the Attack on Titan skin. When the Deathslinger is aiming at you, there is a high-pitched warning sound. The dredge is made of the bodies of people that used to live in the Garden of Joy. If you're playing Onryo, her TVs will only show an image if there's a survivor nearby. Otherwise, they will be completely static. The nurse doesn't have any footstep sounds since she's floating. If you're playing Clown and you throw a bottle at a really high surface, it'll spread the gas out over a larger area. There are different body parts in the smashed cars on Autohaven maps. This is because in the lore, various murders happened by putting people into cars and then smashing them. Some masks make the Legion's voice sound more metallic. The artist is the only killer to make a sound while falling. Some speculate that this connects to her lore because she tried to herself by jumping off a bridge. So maybe every time she falls off of a ledge, it reminds her of that moment. You can hear Plague swallow her vomit back down when she cancels her power. Nemesis has two different Moris, his normal one, and then the one where he says stars if he's mourning a stars member. By playing Wraith and using the Brown Beast add-on that gives you a terror radius while cloaked, you're able to have 2 terror radiuses if you use Dark Devotion. If an artist hits you with her crows, you can hop in a locker to instantly get rid of them. You can also use your flashbang to get rid of them, but I wouldn't recommend doing that. You can see bruises on David's fists since he liked to fight. As of now, if you're playing against a dredge and there are 2 lockers next to each other, only lock one of them. The dredge is forced to teleport to the locked locker, so you can come back and lock the other one later. You essentially double the amount of locked lockers that you have on the map. Onryo has a lullaby that plays even when she's demanifested. Trickster also has a lullaby that plays when he's within 40 meters of your location, even though his terror radius is technically 24 meters. On Quentin's old Prestige cosmetic, you could see the scratches from Freddy's claws. There are 2 different colored generators, red generators for outside gens and yellow generators for inside gens. And lastly, if you're using the perk Blast Mine and you activate it on a generator, there's a little flashbang that appears on the top of the gen. Drop a like and a tomato emoji in the comments below if you made it this far in the video. And if you want to see a professional nurse player try to win against 4 tiny survivors, click the video on screen now.